What is your first thought when you open the app to create an Instagram story? Are you spinning out about what you're saying? If anyone cares, why should you bother, etc.? This is your very first step to showing up confidently online, noticing when you don't feel confident and starting there. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, welcome back to the podcast, my loves. As you are listening to this, I should, keyword should, be on a beach, relaxing, eating yummy food, and reading the dirtiest, smuttiest books on my Kobo on vacation with my fiance, Dustin. COVID has hijacked our vacation plans for a couple years now, and we were even supposed to go in Mexico in January, but then we had a COVID surge and they put travel restrictions on everyone, so we are very due for a vacation. I've been talking about it the last couple weeks in the podcast, and as everybody knows, or if you don't know, I record these podcast episodes in advance, and we're going to do like a last minute all-inclusive thing, so when you're listening to this, it is the week that we're supposed to be on vacation, and as I'm recording it, it's actually October, so we're going to do a last minute thing. And I said this in the last episode, but go to your Coach Jill, and if I'm on there posting, that means that I'm not in Mexico. So come check on me on Instagram at your Coach Jill. And like I said, we are very due for a vacation to just relax, enjoy our lives, and celebrate. And I celebrate everything. So this vacation is celebrating getting through a tough year emotionally and celebrating the women who have recently said yes to overcoming the imposter syndrome that's holding them back so they can confidently show up, share their gifts with the world, and sign four-figure coaching clients. One of my clients just signed 2 one-to-one coaching clients at a 4-figure rate, and she sent me this message in Voxer saying, "It felt like we did so much work to get me here, but it also feels like this is my new normal." I absolutely love that because it means that the changes that we're making to her identity are sticking. In private coaching, we undo the stories and the beliefs that are blocking you from showing up in your power and as the expert so you can create amazing content that speaks to your soulmate clients and sign them into coaching with you. The inner work and the mindset work is so powerful, and it's what I do all day long with my private coaching clients. This is a 6-month coaching container where we start with a 2-hour deep dive to assess what's working and what's not working in your mindset and your business, and then we meet weekly for weekly coaching sessions. You get access to me in Voxer, and you get access to my entire product suite of never seen before resources, courses, hypnosis tracks, meditations, all that good stuff. So book a sales call at the link in my show notes to get started. Speaking of something that we do all day, every day in private coaching, I wanted to share today about a concept and basically an exercise that I call shadow work for showing up. And this is something that I encourage my private clients to do when they're experiencing resistance to showing up confidently online. Clients, if you're listening to this, it is in the portal. If you're like, well, Jill, what the fuck are you talking about? It's in the portal. It's a training. Go check it out. Because the truth is, there are so many programs and strategies out there for showing up and sharing content. There's content formulas and content prompts and 30-day challenges, but all of that will fall flat or be difficult to do if you are harboring imposter syndrome, fear, and self-doubt behind the scenes. Showing up requires thoughts that are conducive with showing up. And it's way more than just showing up and showing your face and saying words, right? That's quite honestly the easy part. It's what you're saying and how you're saying it, the energy and the confidence behind the words that you're saying. And when you don't feel like an expert, when you feel like you're not qualified, and when you think if you show up authentically, you're going to be seen as incapable or incompetent, it's going to be pretty hard to show up. So in the last couple of years, as my business has done really well financially, I had to do some of the shadow work around sharing my income wins. I had so many stories around money and what it would mean about me if I started sharing my income. I even had actual evidence of people having an issue with it. As recent as a couple of months ago, my family will message me and tell me to not share my income online. Most recently, it was my uncle who lives all the way out in Alberta and had to comment as soon as I posted something on LinkedIn because he has me on there. But I'm going to delete him if he says anything else because that is just like, it's so annoying. But honestly, those circumstances used to hold me back because of what I was making it mean about myself, that I was a coach sharing income milestones. So many stories of being greedy or money hungry or only focused on money came up, and I had to do the shadow work to dispel them. So maybe we should first talk about what shadow work is if you don't know. All it is looking at your unhealed and not so pretty parts of yourself, looking at the stories of unworthiness, the fears, the self-doubts, and what unhealthy and non-accepting things you may believe about yourself. And it's about looking at your ego as well. Psychologist Carl Jung created shadow work and defined it as the unconscious parts of ourselves that we don't want to identify with because we make it mean something bad about ourselves. So for me, it was shadow work that I had to do when it came to any parts of me that I was dismissing, like the parts of me that want to be paid well and wants to make money, when in my subconscious I believed it was bad to want those things, right? So shadow work for showing up means that we are being aware of what happens in our body and in our brain when we go to show up on social media. I've talked about this before, but a piece of the work that we do in private coaching is also nervous system regulation, because for highly sensitive people, sometimes showing up online can feel very unsafe. And our bodies go into a freeze state where you come up blank. Have you ever had so many ideas and then froze up when you go to share online, and it feels like you're not maximizing your content's potential? You are probably feeling dysregulated, and your body is jumping in to help you feel safe again, aka kicking in your survivor response. So that's one piece of it, right? It's becoming aware of how we feel and what thoughts are actually running through our heads when we create content for our business or when we go to actually sell our services. And I mean, actually take a second. How does your body feel when you go to write content? What is your first thought when you open the app to create an Instagram story? Are you spinning out about what you're saying? If anyone cares, why should you bother, etc.? This is your very first step to showing up confidently online, noticing when you don't feel confident and starting there. It's like getting on the train without a ticket, okay, which I've definitely done before. Don't tell anybody. You can get on the train and sit there in fear, wondering if someone is going to come around and kick your ass off. You don't enjoy the ride on the train. You're terrified the whole time. And even if you get to your destination, you think, I got away with it once more, right? But you may as well just buy the fucking ticket and do the work and sit your ass on the train, read a book, enjoy the ride, and you'll absolutely, without a doubt, get to your destination this way. The destination being a successful business and signing clients when you do the work to show up confidently. So, I'm going to share with you a couple of the prompts from this exercise that I do with my clients. We also do this extensively in private coaching, noticing what's happening in the body and what thoughts you're having, regulating your nervous system so you feel safe showing up to share your services, because it can feel really threatening and scary when you don't feel good enough to put yourself out there and ask for people to pay for your services, and to do it consistently. So we actually do the shadow working session so you can show up confidently and attract soulmate clients to you. So here are a few of the juiciest and hardest to answer questions from shadow work for showing up. If you're driving, just come back to this episode when you're able to write these down. And if you're not driving, I encourage you to get out a pen and a piece of paper or your notes app and write these questions out. The first question is, what do I think my audience thinks about me when I show up? The second question is, who am I afraid will see my content? What am I afraid they'll think? And the third question is, what content triggers me when I see other people making it? Why does it trigger me? Oof, these questions will get you digging deep and will probably bring up some subconscious beliefs and thoughts that you had no idea existed, hence why they're subconscious. But I'm telling you, once you start looking at these things, you will realize that showing up and selling your services is so much deeper than just getting online and saying words. For people who are highly sensitive, it can be a real source of fear and anxiety. And because so many of us are highly sensitive people and that we've learned to base our worth and how we're doing off the validation of others, showing up on social media to sell our services can feel shitty because you're not getting that praise and validation that you're used to. This will lead to you showing up inconsistently, half-assing your content, and ultimately not attracting or signing your soulmate clients. So if this episode spoke to you and you know you need to do the inner work so you can show up confidently, feel like the expert, and create the coaching business you've always wanted to, I have private coaching spots available at my current rate of $8,000 USD. There are multiple payment plans available for the 6-month container. Go to the link in my show notes to book a sales call so we can work together for 6 months to combat your imposter syndrome and your self-doubt so you can show up confidently, consistently, and so you can sign 4-figure clients. I love you so much, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to find out how you can take this work deeper with me in one-to-one coaching or in the From Imposter to Empowered group program. In the show notes, you'll also find a free 3-day challenge to start the process of overcoming your inner imposter. And once you're done with all of that, screenshot this episode and share it on Instagram, tagging me at YourCoachJill so we can connect. See you next time.